Another day, another President-elect Barack Obama press conference on the economy. Another day of green arrows next to the stock market numbers on the TV machine. Today was the third straight successful demonstration of the magic trick that's called Obama announces something and Wall Street reacts positively. Today, Obama introduced his director and deputy director of the Office of Management and Budget. Wall Street's reaction? A modest 36-point gain, which might not sound like much, but if you're keeping score at home, that's the first three-day stock market gain since August. Imagine being a fly on the wall during the deliberations at Obama headquarters these days. The deliberations about how visible and active the president-elect should be right now during this financial crisis. You can imagine one set of advice. You know, sir, as soon as you start talking about this economy, you own it. The minute you announce your Treasury Secretary, people are going to be looking at you to get us out of this mess. And all you can do is hold press conferences. Be careful. On the other hand, there is the fact that we are in that mess right now, and press conferences may not be everything, but if they help, they help. So in the face of all the obvious political risks, our president-elect has chosen to jump in there. His day-to-day involvement and announcements and TV appearances about the economy have the political effect of shielding the current president, George W. Bush, from blame. But, you know, when your team is down and it looks like maybe you're going to lose, do you want a player who hopes to stay on the sidelines and not get put in and blamed for losing? Or do you want a player who's dying to get into that game, to try to lead your team to an against-the-odds win? Obama has decided to get in there. Without the powers of the presidency, but with a bullish, bully pulpit, he is trying to will confidence back into the markets, with what seems to be developing as a daily pattern of pep talk press conferences.
As difficult as these times are, I'm confident that we're going to rise to meet this challenge. Because at this moment, we must not only restore confidence in our markets, we also must restore the confidence of middle-class families that their government is on their side, that it's working for them and on their behalf to meet their families' needs. That's what I intend to do as President of the United States.
Barack Obama does not yet have a veto pen. We do not know what color he will choose for the rug in the Oval Office. When he walks into a room, no band goes, yeah, that doesn't happen yet. He's not president. But he does kind of seem to be taking charge. And Wall Street is reacting as such. In a little more than 55 days, he will be able to control the mind-boggling amount of money that's being thrown at this financial crisis. According to CNBC, the U.S. government has now committed about $4.3 trillion to fixing this crisis. Barry Ritholtz, who's the author of the upcoming book Bailout Nation, has put that number in context. Now, you might want to sit down for this. When you adjust for inflation, the current crisis has cost more money than the Marshall Plan, the Louisiana Purchase, the race to the moon, the S&L crisis, the Korean War, the whole New Deal, the Iraq War, the Vietnam War, the lifetime budget of NASA, combined. Let that sink in for a minute. All those numbers are adjusted for inflation. And if you compare them to what we have committed for solving this financial crisis, the financial crisis is more than all of those put together. That is a lot of money. A lot of money trying to fix a big, big problem. You know, when you're doing something on that kind of scale, something that big and that expensive, trying to save the global economy, you sort of want the person heading up that effort to be awesome, right? To be great at their job. Well, so far, that pile of money, larger than the Marshall Plan, the Louisiana Purchase, the Moonshot, the S&Ls, the Korean War, the New Deal, the Iraq War, the Vietnam War, and NASA, so far, that has been under the stewardship of a Treasury Secretary who's frankly more Mr. Magoo than MacGyver, bumping into stuff rather than fixing it miraculously in the nick of time with baling wire and tapioca pudding. It is probably necessary to spend such a huge amount of money on this problem. But is it too much to ask to have somebody who appears competent with a plan heading it up? Today, our all-over-the-map Treasury Secretary reversed himself yet again on the economic crisis and the response to it. A week ago, Henry Paulson said this about the half of the bailout money he hasn't spent yet.
We have therefore determined that the prudent course at this time is to conserve the remaining funds available from the TARP, providing flexibility for this and the next administration.
Okay, so that was a week ago. He says, we won't spend that money. We'll hand over the rest of it to Obama to spend. That was a week ago. Today, Bloomberg News reports that Paulson is changing his mind on that. Reversing course, he's now considering asking for the rest of that money now. Just the latest in a long, long list of quick Paulson reversals, including but not limited to completely changing the intent of the bailout from a program that buys up troubled assets to a program that doesn't do that at all and just hands out money. I mean, injects capital instead. And then there was his proclamation that the banking system was stable and there was no further pressing concern of any big failures. That was 5 days before he decided to bail out Citigroup. The all-over-the-map, reverse course at every turn approach. It's been exciting, but exciting in a bad way, when what the financial system needs is predictability and credibility and confidence. I mean, didn't think it was possible for them to screw something up as badly as they did Iraq or Katrina or the Constitution? Well, meet the Bush bailout. The one silver lining here is that the debacle in D.C. has led President-elect Obama to take control early, to hold these daily "I swear I'm on the way" press conferences. Can Obama's show of control preserve what's left of the American economy until January 20th? Joining us now is syndicated columnist David Sorow.